Several school districts have released a plan for students heading into the 2020-2021 school year. Orleans Parish Schools will offer a mix of in-person and distance learning, and many others have similar plans. With so much uncertainty, parents and children may feel a little anxious. Dr. Holly MacKenna, psychiatrist with Dara Wellness, joins us via FaceTime with some tips on how to cope. Good morning, Dr. MacKenna.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. So, what do you do if you're a parent and you're feeling a little bit anxious, kind of wondering, do I put my child back in school full time? Do I do virtual learning? How do you kind of work it all out?
Yeah, it's really going to be an individual choice. The American Academy of Pediatrics came out and recommended that we look at the whole child when making this decision. So consider, how the child's been doing at home, how much they miss their friends, how much you're relying on that school lunch, how much you're relying on PE to get outside, like spending so much time on the internet. I mean, we know from teleworking as adults, but also for children, isn't really healthy, having that much exposure to that blue light from the computer. So looking at the whole child when making these considerations, I understand anxiety is a part of the decision making, but understanding that that shouldn't be all that determines what you do is really important to keep in mind. And really, when you're in doubt, talk to your child's doctor. If your child has some type of condition that makes you concerned about exposure, that's the first place to go. And then if you yourself have something that you're worried about them bringing home an exposure to, then talk to your doctor as well.
And I think it's important to talk to the child as well, whether they be, a young
Absolutely.
child or maybe a teenager, just about how they're feeling about potentially going back, having to wear a mask and seeing others in masks as well.
Yeah, a big part of what causes anxiety is the unknown. And so the best way to handle it is communication. So that's going to be making sure you understand what's happening. So if you're uncertain, reaching out to your school. I think a lot of the schools are doing their best to communicate what's happening, but there's a lot of unknowns still. So understanding that it's okay to say that you're not sure. It's better to actually say that you don't know what's happening than to pretend things are going to be okay when you don't know that. And then looking at the age of your child and adjusting the communication to that person's age. Also be aware that as worried as we are as parents, our little people have ears that are huge. They're like Dumbo ears, so they can hear everything we're talking about, even when we think they're in the other room, playing on their iPad, doing whatever. When it's something that's causing anxiety for mom and dad, they pick up on that. And they're going to be hyper aware of what you're saying, and they're going to hear it from their perspective, which, we have to adjust what we're saying for them.
I think in an ideal world, it might be easy to say, yes, I'm going to keep my kids at home. I'm going to help them with this virtual learning. But if you're a parent with a job, you have to kind of take into account your mental health as well.
Oh, absolutely. This is a great time to model how to handle anxiety for your kids. You really have to look at the whole picture for you, your family, your child. Have those conversations as a family, have those conversations one-on-one with your child. And even after you make a decision about what to do, still check in every day, especially as school is getting closer. Because as I said, a lot of the anxiety is about the unknown. So what you can do once you make a decision is rehearse what's going to happen.
Sure.
If they're going to be wearing a mask at school, start walking around the neighborhood wearing masks, start going out and wearing masks and having them used to wearing that mask for several hours during the day. You can go outside, draw some chalk 6 feet apart and let them see how far that is and how far they'll be from their friends and how you can still have a conversation.
Right.
So a lot of that will help with everybody's anxiety, I think.
Absolutely. Great advice this morning, Dr. Holly MacKenna. We appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Take care. Time now is 9.